So first things first, I want to get off of this tree and then punch some wood, get a wooden pickaxe, and then grab some stone and then make a full set of stone tools. So now that I got my tools, I want to head over to that island right in the middle because this is where my home is going to be. And first things first, I want to start off by clearing out all the trees on this island so I have space to build whatever I want. Now that the island is all cleared out, I'm going to go and make myself a big chest just to store everything in for now, because the next major thing that I need is going to be food and a bed. And while I'm here, I might as well grab some iron and coal that I find along the way as well. Now I can make myself a bed and we are all set and ready to go right before nighttime. So now that I'm back on my island, I want to split it into different sections. And the first section that I want to make is the mining section. And I think a nice custom cave entrance here to a mine would look absolutely amazing. So what we're going to do is first clear out a bunch of the dirt to make it level. And then I'm going to start a double staircase going all the way down here just a little bit. And just to start off, I'm going to put a little entrance right there. And then we can kind of do just a little bit of randomization on the sides here just to make it look like it's sort of like a rock that has been sitting here for a while that has been converted into a cave. And I'll just continue working on this until I have a shape that I like. All right, so here's the rock thing that I made. It's nothing too fancy, and I might end up changing it a little bit later on, but for now, I'll just keep it the way it is. Now, the next thing I want to do is actually get started on building a farm, and I was thinking of making the farm actually elevated. So there's going to be a retaining wall right here, and there's going to be different tiers that will hold different crops, and it will go down to this level right here. And I do want to make the retaining wall out of wood. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to go with the birch and spruce wood. I think that'll look actually really nice. I think I'm going to start the wall basically right about here and then go all the way across. But in order to finish this, I am going to need to get a bunch more spruce, but I think you can get the idea of what I'm going for here. If you're enjoying the video so far, please be sure to like and subscribe as we are on the road to 5,000 subscribers here on the channel. Now that this is all done and filled in with dirt, it is time to add some of the crops, and I'm thinking the top layer right here is going to be wheat, and then this layer down here is going to be potatoes. So while I wait for my single potato and my single piece of wheat to start growing, I think the next thing I want to do is start to expand the island a little bit, or at least create an outline, because right now this island is not going to be big enough for everything that I want to build. So what I'm going to do is just add a small outline with some dirt going across. So I think an outline like that would be perfect, but I am going to need a lot more dirt to fill this in. So I'm just going to go and grab a good couple stacks of dirt and then fill the rest of it in. Now the entire thing is filled in, and this is where I want to put my house, but before I end up doing that, I want to go down in the mines to see if I can get myself some iron and some diamonds. And I found lots of diamonds, a total of 3 veins off the start. I kept exploring and ended up finding a mine shaft, and connected to that mine shaft was a trial chamber, which I will definitely be tackling later on. I also found a zombie spawner, which will be great for XP, and it had some decent items in it, which I will use in the future. The mine shaft also didn't really have much in terms of ores, so I decided to continue strip mining and found an ancient city. Curiosity got the best of me and I decided to explore a bit. The first chest didn't really have anything fancy, but I took the stuff anyways. I also grabbed some exposed diamonds and moved on to the second chest. The second chest was way more useful, holding some books, enchanted books, diamond hoe, and some regen potions. Opening the third chest, I triggered a sensor, which was a bit scary, but I quickly grabbed what I could carry and decided to make my way out. I am finally back home and I'm smelting all of the iron I got, and I also should take these 26 diamonds and craft myself some diamond armor as well. And I can also craft myself an enchant table, and because I got a decent amount of books, I think what I'm going to do is go and explore a little bit to see if I can kill some cows and maybe find a village to get some more books so I can get a level 30 enchant table off the start. And then once I return, I will get started on building my house. I quickly found the first village. I started off by looting some of the chests, grabbing the hay bales, slaughtering some nearby animals, and grabbing some carrots. Unfortunately, the village did not have a library, so I continued on. On day 11, I found another village that unfortunately did not have a library, but I looted all the chests and slaughtered some more animals and continued on until finally on day 12, I found a village with some bookshelves, and after that, I continued exploring for another few days. I am now back, and this is everything that I got, and with all of this, I should be able to make a full level 30 enchant table, and for now, I'll just plop it over here, and the first enchant we get for level 30 is Silk Touch. Unfortunately, I do not have 30 levels yet, so I'm gonna have to keep grinding some levels in order to get some enchants, but it does give me the opportunity to cook up some of the food that I got, and head into the mines to grab all the resources that I need to build my house. I got everything I need in this chest, so now I think it is time to get started on building my house. Majority of the outside of the house is complete, but I did forget to fill in the side walls. And for the floor, I was thinking of using some stripped birch logs, and mainly because this is the floor design I've used like many times before, and it just kind of makes it look like a bright wooden floor, which is kind of what I'm going for because the rest of the building is pretty dark. And then for the second floor, I'm thinking of doing basically the same thing, but except with some birch slabs. And then over here, I can add some ladders, and I can also put a spruce trapdoor just at the top. And this layer here, I think I can actually get rid of because I want to put furnaces in the wall because I feel like it would be a really nice way to sort of hide a bunch of furnaces. And before I forget, actually, I do want to finish these little plant pots out front, and there's going to be another one on this side, and then I can put some slabs on top as an overhang, and then some trap doors as shutters, and I can do the same on this side here, and I could add a little ledge just like that. And I can also put some lanterns on the corners just to make sure everything is lit up around the house. And I also forgot to add one thing to the roof, being just an overhang and a lantern on the sides. And I did forget to grab myself some glass, so I'm gonna have to quickly do that. And while I'm waiting for the glass to smelt, I can start adding some of the interior things, being some chests and some tables as well, and filling all of this in with some furnaces. I have moved everything inside my house and filled in all the glass, so now it is time to give you a tour. So you'll walk in, and to your right you got some basic things like some barrels and a stone cutter, and then to the left we have a bunch of chests, and they're all labeled with certain types of items, like this is the wood chest, this is the stone chest, and so on. And then you go up the ladder, and you have my bed here to the left, and you have a bunch of furnaces on either side, and over here on this wall you have the level 30 enchant table. With this being done, the next thing I want to tackle is actually my farm, because I built this earlier on and I really don't like it. So basically I'm going to tear this entire thing down and completely redesign it to make it fit more in line with the rest of the plans that I have for this island. The farm has been revamped, and I kept the outer wall because I'm actually going to use this outer wall for the entirety of this base here, just because I think having a wall like this would look pretty cool, but I will change up the style a little bit in the future. But what I do quickly want to do is actually extend my island out a little bit more, just to give me a little bit more room for some projects in the future. So I think this is extended far enough, and what's going to happen is this wall is going to extend to here. There's going to be a nice little opening and maybe a bridge that goes across, I'm thinking. But before I get carried away, I want to get myself level 30 so I can get some enchants. So I'm going to go down into the mines and grab every piece of redstone, lapis, iron, all the ores I can get to hopefully get me enough XP to get level 30. I am back from the mines and I got level 30 as well as all of this stuff. So I think it is time to start enchanting some gear. First up, we got a silk touch pickaxe, which I will take, and it just has silk touch. That is very unfortunate. All right, back up to level 30 again. What do I get? Fortune 3, E4, Unbreaking 3. That's a great pickaxe. Now that I got some enchants, I want to actually start extending this wall out just a little bit, but I'm also going to extend the dirt out a bit more as well. But before I do any of that, I am going to get your lead, sir. I just realized that I have 2 spruce logs here and it doesn't line up. So I'm gonna have to take this entire thing down and redo it all the way across. Is partially complete. I did leave this area open because I want a bridge that goes across over there, and I also left this area open because I'm thinking of adding a dock here and then maybe a boat out in the water somewhere. Now, I did also realize that I have diamond horse armor and a saddle, and I think this area right here would be a perfect spot for a horse stable. And for the horse stable, I want to kind of keep it in the same theme as my house. There we go, the horse stables is mostly complete, but I actually want to edit it a little bit and remove this layer and replace it with some deep slate to sort of match the roof of my house. There we go. I think that looks okay. And on the inside, I could add a chain and a lantern to each pen, and I can add a hanging lantern to the outsides on either end. And as some detail, I can just add a couple pieces of hay, just sort of scattered around on either end, and also piled up on the back. And in this chest right here, I can store the extra hay bales. And finally, I am back home with my friend. Just gonna drag you all the way over here and bring you into this pen. And now this is your new home, buddy. I have no idea what to name this horse, so put a name in the comments below. And I don't want any generic names either. I want some really cool names for this horse. I also picked up some flowers on my way so I can put it into these flower pots. Now that the stables are built, I want to move my attention to my mine, because right now it is just a staircase and it's not very efficient. But I don't just want to add a staircase all the way down. I want a minecart track going all the way down. So one side here is going to be stairs, and then one side is going to be a minecart track. And I also want an area out here where there'd be like a bunch of random minecarts and mining related things. Now I already got a ton of wood, iron, and gold, so it should be enough to have a minecart track go all the way down. So first, to start off, I think I'm going to get rid of this top layer of dirt and then replace replace it with some deep slate bricks. And the idea I have for the stairs is to basically use some polished andesite going all the way down. And then for the minecart track area, I'm thinking of using some of the stone bricks I have left over. So I'm just going to go all the way down, adding the stairs and the stone brick. So the stairs and the stone brick has now been put in place. You can see it goes all the way across here, all the way down there a little bit, and it goes all the way through here and up towards the surface. I think a stack in 48 plus 36 powered rails should be good enough for now. Now I'm thinking every 4 I could have a powered rail, and then just keep going with the 4 regular rails and then 1 powered rail all the way to the bottom, and then I will test it going all the way up. So going down it should be okay. And then what about going up? Oh, it's not quite good enough. Okay. So I'm gonna put 2 powered rails. All right, here we go. Let's try this again. Yeah, okay, that is plenty. That works really well. I like that. Okay, so issue is now solved. Now for the walls, I think I've thought of a design that will work. And the plan is to actually get rid of the wall here, just sort of on either side, and then maybe doing something with some wood going across, kind of like that every now and then to give it sort of like a mine shaft vibe, where these things kind of look like a mine shaft. And then maybe over here we could have some dark oak. Yeah, honestly, I like the look of that. I like the oak and the dark oak, and then we'll go all the way down to the bottom. The entire replay mod clip broke, but this process took forever. And finally, after many days, this entire thing is done. Unfortunately, the replay of it completely corrupted, but this took hours to complete. As you can see, it's dark oak and wood pillars going all the way across and all the way up to the surface. But just because this is complete doesn't mean the entire thing is done. There are still some extra details that I want to add, and one of those things is going to be a little shelf that's going to have a bunch of mine carts on it, which should be just as simple as placing one on a rail and then breaking the rail, and it should just sit. Yep, there we go, just like that. Just a couple mine carts sitting on the sides. And for this front area, I do want to add a little bit of detail, and I have a couple of ores, so I might as well sprinkle these around, being some small piles of like coal and copper. And I can also sprinkle around a couple of fences to kind of act like this area has been fenced off. And I was also thinking that I could add a couple blocks of packed mud just to sort of give it like a dirty, sort of used and run down look. And actually, I think replacing the fences with some stone walls works pretty well, and I think it fits the theme a lot better. But now that this is done, I think I should probably make a path. So I've decided on a path, and I think this design is what I'm going to go with. If I go into a bird's eye view here, you can see it does fit the theme of the rest of the builds, and I think it also looks kind of nice, especially from up here. But I'm going to need some more of the dripstone blocks because I am all out, so I'm going to head back into the mines. And I also need some more gold to finish the powered rails, so while I'm down here, I'm going to go grab that as well. So now that I got everything that I need, I should be able to finish the pathway. Just gotta add the last few finishing touches, and there we go. And I'm also thinking of maybe adding a couple fences laying around. Yeah, I don't mind that. I might replace it with spruce fences though. But now, since I'm back up to 31 levels, it is time to enchant an axe, and we have Unbreaking 3. Please come with efficiency, and it's just Unbreaking 3. I mean, the next enchantment is efficiency 4, so I think with this gold smelting here, I should be able to get back up to level 30, and then I'll just have to combine the two. Now I'm going to enchant this axe, and I got efficiency 4, and I'm going to combine the two. Which way is cheaper? This way. Efficiency 4, Unbreaking 3, and then on a shovel we have Unbreaking 3, and on a sword we got Sweeping Edge 3, but I don't have nearly enough levels for that yet. My next project is adding an animal pen, and I think right in this area would be perfect for it. Also, I did change out these fences to make them spruce fences, and added some lanterns to the top for some lighting, but I think I'm going to extend it out out this way a little bit, and then it will go down the middle, and then this will just extend this way and connect to the wall. And I can also put some fence gates in here as well. So now I just need cows in here and sheep in here. And I'm pretty sure in this direction here, I did see one of those woolly cows, which is one of the new cow variants, and I think I definitely want that at my base. These are the regular cows. I knew I saw one over here, but it's not looking like it's here anymore. Maybe it did despawn, but I'll take you guys anyways. And now, since I got you guys over here, I think it would be best to get each of you in a boat. So if one of you guys would follow me into this boat, and you're gonna get yourself into this boat, there we go, and I can just boat you guys over. All right, there's cow number 1, and here's cow number 2. Now I just need to get myself some sheep, and I think I saw some over in this direction. All right, here's 1 sheep, and we have 2 more sheep here just up the mountain, and I do see a donkey over there, which I'm going to definitely be grabbing. And finally, my army of sheep has arrived back at home, and now I think it is the right time to make a dock area over here, and it's just going to be a very simple one using some oak slabs. So I think something like this looks okay, and then maybe I could actually get rid of the spots in the middle here, and that'll make it feel a little bit more open. And actually, maybe I can just put a little bit that sort of juts out. And how the hell did this llama get up there? Genuinely, I'm actually confused. How did he get up there? There is no way for him to get up there. All right, well, I got roof llama, I guess. And then I'm thinking I could also add some pillars over here to sort of give it some support. Honestly, I don't think that looks half bad. And then on the edge, I can maybe put some lanterns. And I can also add some barrels scattered around just to add as a little bit of detail. And I can also add these little sort of storage area things for some pumpkins. And I also added these little water trough things. Now, I do want some glowberries hanging from this, but unfortunately, I do not have those right now. And I also do want to make some sort of a market stall eventually with some fish in it. But for right now, I think this dock looks pretty good. It sort of gives the vibe that a ship just came in, dropped off a bunch of supplies, and the supplies are waiting to be put away in different areas. And I was also thinking of just sprinkling in a couple path blocks around, just to sort of have the vibe of it being a little bit run down, a little bit used, and the water has sort of eroded some of the land. I also want to add a simple dock to the front of my island as well. There we go. Now this place is really starting to come together, but the one glaring thing that is missing is the wall going all the way around, which I think it is about time that I finally finish it. So the wall is now complete, and I did decide to add some walls in the middle. Before, I was originally just going to keep it all open, but I think I actually like the walls there. It kind of makes it so it's more like a closed off thing and only the docks lead to like an opening. And now the next project I want to do is a small greenhouse right here that holds like bees and flowers and things like that. And the easiest way to get copper is to go down to the mines and head to the trial chamber. But the issue is that my armor is not enchanted. So before I go down there and tackle the trial chamber, I want to get myself some enchants. And to do that, I need to turn the zombie spawner down there into an actual grinder, so I think that is the next thing I am going to do. While digging out an area for the zombie grinder, I decided to see if I could snag some copper without triggering a trial spawner. Unfortunately, I could not, but it was just some zombies, so it was light work. After grabbing all the copper and other goodies, I went back to finish off the zombie grinder. Alright, the grinder is now working, so I should just be able to sit here and smack away at some zombies until I get enough levels to enchant my entire set of armor, and probably my shovel and sword. So all my armor is now enchanted. So now before I head back down into the cave to tackle the trial chamber, I think it is time to build the greenhouse. Now I have most of the things I am going to need to build it, except some sand and bees, of course. I think a stack of sand is good enough. And now for the bees, I think I saw some beehives over in that direction. All right, here's the first beehive. Now I think I have to put a campfire underneath and then break it like that. And there we go. We got 2 bees in here. That's amazing. And I'm just gonna keep going until I find a couple more beehives. Here is beehive number 2, and there is the third. And this one has 3 bees inside. That is great. So these 3 should be good enough for what I need. I almost forgot that I need some pale oak as well. So hopefully there is one of those pale oak biomes in here somewhere. And yes, there is one right here. That is perfect. There we go. 53 should be plenty. So now that I am back home and I got everything in here, I think it is finally time to build this greenhouse. Alright, the outside is complete. I just have to wait for the trapdoors to oxidize. And now I can focus on the interior. And first things first here, what I want to do is get rid of the floor and then add in some of the dripstone and mud in the middle to sort of keep it uniform with the path outside. I do also want to sprinkle in some moss blocks just to add a little bit more green inside. I also want to add some beehives here, and I think I'm only going to be able to add 2, or actually no, I can add 1 more right over here. So 1 beehive there, 1 beehive there, and then 1 will go there. And then I can also add a small little planter here where I can put a big flower, and then I can add some small little wildflowers around, as well as some other flowers, just to make sure the bees do have a variety. I could also maybe add just a little shelf here with a flower pot and a lily of the valley in it. And up at the top real quick, I do want to add a copper bulb, and then I can turn it on, so we do have a little bit of light in here. Then maybe I could actually add 2 more of these, being 1 on this side and 1 on this side. And then the final thing is some campfires underneath, so I can harvest it without the bees attacking me. And now I can just breed some of the bees if they would please move out of here. So now I have a ton of bees in here, so they can give me all the honey that I probably won't end up using, but I do like to have some bees in here just because they're pretty cool looking. And there is the entire greenhouse complete. It is not very big, and it does kind of stand out compared to the rest of the builds, but I do like it here. So now with that being done, I think it is finally time to go and explore the trial chamber, and I will make sure to bring this bad omen bottle with me because I'm pretty sure that's the only way to get the mace, and the mace is something that I definitely want. So I headed down into the trial chamber and started defeating each trial. Unfortunately, the trials did not give me anything useful even after fighting an entire army. But I continued beating mob after mob and trial after trial, but after completing the last trial, I still didn't get anything useful. So after all of that, I really didn't get much, and my armor took an absolute beating. I mean, it was fun to tackle, but I don't really think I got anything useful out of it. I really want the mace, but I don't think I think you need like a core or something, and I definitely don't have that. Now it is time I think I tackle this back corner over here, and in this corner I'm going to be putting a tower. Now I should have everything I need into this chest except some cobblestone. Of course I'm missing some cobblestone, so I'm thinking I can start the tower maybe right about here on this block. So pretty much just going to go up like this all the way across. The tower itself is not actually that difficult. I found this online a while ago. I completely forget who originally made it. I mean, if you somehow watch this video and say, hey, that was my tower, I will pin your comment. But now that I got the basic shape, I think I'm going to finish the rest of it in a time lapse. And now the outside is mostly complete. There are a couple things that I want to add. And the first thing is just adding a little bit of a depth here to the outside, and then doing something like this with some walls and fences. And I think that actually looks okay, except what if I try to extend this up 1. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm just gonna end up leaving it flat like that. And actually, maybe I'll put some trapdoors at the bottom. There we go. I think it looks a lot better. And now for the inside, I'm just gonna clear out all of this and add some of the stripped birch. And I almost forgot to add the trapdoors on the outside. And of course, I'm gonna have to wait for these to oxidize. But now in here, what I want to do is just add this little trick here with the ladders going all the way up. I always love that you can do this in Java. I feel like it works so well. It's like an extendable ladder. And then in this corner here, I can maybe add a little bit of a desk, and then I can put a cartography table in this corner, and then maybe I could add a couple barrels and maybe some shelves over here on this side. And on those shelves, we can maybe add a couple candles just as a little bit of light in here. And I can maybe put a couple down here as well. And I can maybe add some other items like a crafting table and a chest. And maybe I could put a little pot on top of the crafting table as well. And then moving up here, I'm going to add a copper bulb and turn it on with a lever. And with the honeycomb, I can wax it. So now we'll always have a good light source up here. I also wanted to add one more thing up here, being a lightning rod. And actually really quickly, one more thing before I forget is I want to add some lanterns and fences going all the way around. And there we go. The tower is now finally complete. And the reason I made the roof out of some oxidized copper is because it sort of matches the other side with the greenhouse. You can also see that I'm kind of missing a path going up all the way to the tower, which is the next thing that I'm going to do, as well as I want to add a little berry field sort of around the tower as well. Now I do have a decent amount of dripstone and granite, but I will need some mud. But before I do that, are you selling anything useful? I mean, you are selling cactus, and I have not come across a desert yet, so you know what? I guess I'll take your cactus. And I guess I'll take the coral, and that's really all I need. So I'm just gonna quickly turn a bunch of dirt into mud, and then I will finish off the path. So the path is done, and I started putting in the field of berries, but then I got an idea. What if I make it more like a vineyard thing? So pretty much it's gonna be like a row of fences, and then a row of berries, and then a row of like fences and hanging signs, and a row of berries. So, like pretty much I can just go across like this. And honestly, I don't actually mind that. I think it looks pretty good. So I'm basically just gonna do that for all the rows going across. Honestly, I think I really like the look of that. I think it genuinely looks very good. And there's one more thing I wanted to add, and that being some candles on the top of this, just to add a little bit of light back here. Now, I would prefer for these candles to actually be brown, but I do not have any cocoa beans or anything like that, so, and the jungle is like 1,000 blocks that way, so I'm just gonna use the white candles, I think. Now that this is all done, the next project I want to do is out in the water. Now, originally, I was going to put a boat right here, but because my tower is there, I think I'm going to move the boat probably somewhere over here. The idea is that the boat that just dropped off the supplies is going to be heading out, and that this little cove right here is a way for the boats to sort of get out of this lake area. The replay is very fast because I spent a lot of time following a tutorial to build this boat, because boats are one of my building weak points. The boat design I'm using is from Thor Hammerhand, and it is an older design, but I think it works quite well. And there is the boat mostly completed, but the last few things I want to add in here is just some supplies, like it's dropping some things off. And I do have a lot of these decorated pots, so I might as well add a couple of them just sort of laying around, and also maybe a stack of barrels. And I can maybe throw in some wood over here as well. Actually, I think over here would be a little bit better. I can add a couple more miscellaneous things like some furnaces, maybe a fletching table, and I can throw a crafting table down here and a chest. And I can also sprinkle around a couple candles and maybe throw in some lanterns as well. Oh, and one more thing, I wanted to add a stone cutter up here, but I need to go and grab that because I was thinking a stone cutter kind of looks like a little wheel going back and forth. So as you're standing up here, you're controlling the ship and you're bringing a bunch of supplies along with you. And looking at it from afar, I think that looks absolutely amazing. And how did you get inside my house when my door was closed? I really don't understand these guys. Are you giving me anything useful? Not really. Okay, you're dying today. But now, with the last few couple of days left, I want to focus on some of the final details. And the first glaring thing that I completely forgot about is down here, you can see that the entirety of my island is basically just floating. So I want to go and grab some dirt and try to terraform it to make it look somewhat natural. And I think over in this direction over here, there should be a lot of dirt if I go through this cave. So yeah, I'm basically just going to grab as much dirt as I possibly can. So I do think that all of this dirt should be good enough. So now I can finally start to fill in all these areas with some dirt. I'm not really excited about it, but let's get started. Now that my island is fully connected to the ground, I think it is now time to move on to basically the last thing I wanted to do in this world, and that is some last final details. And I think first we're going to start off back here. And I did see this online, and I think it actually looks very cool, is using some of the pale hanging moss as like fishing net. And then since it is near the water, I can add some of these firefly bushes. And I was also thinking of sprinkling in a few patches of moss around just to give this place a little bit more color. And I do also want to get rid of some of the leaf litter because there is a lot of leaf litter around, but I will add some of it back in different places. But I also do want to add a couple of these wildflowers sprinkled around. I can also maybe throw a little bit of short grass around. And I'm thinking that this area here, we can add some tall flowers because there really isn't anything here. It's just kind of an open space, and I think it would look really nice with some flowers sprinkled around, and then maybe some flowering azalea bushes as well. And then I could add back a little bit of leaf litter. And I do also have a couple of other flowers here, like some lily of the valleys, which I think I'm going to put around. And then maybe in some places I can throw a couple of lilac. And then some patches back here, I can just throw in some bone meal. And then in here as well, I can throw in some bone meal and get some tall grass. And just with that little bit added, this place is looking a lot more alive. And I also just thought about maybe adding some grass to the outside here, just so it doesn't look like it's just a bunch of dirt sitting around. Yeah, I am definitely liking the look of that a lot more. Now, I do want to add some hay bales back here because I was noticing that from the sky view, this area looks a little bit bare, especially with a lot of the animals kind of focusing towards the front fence. Now, the only issue is that I really have to be careful with how I place these because if I don't place them correctly, then all the animals will be able to escape, and I do not want that. But there we go. That should be good. I don't think any of the animals can escape, and maybe I can bone meal some of the animal pens a little bit, and then I could add some more flowers around as well. And I also finally remembered to actually go down and fix my railway because I never actually finished it. I left it just a tad bit undone. So there we go. The entire railway is now finally finished. And one of the last things that I was going to do that I completely forgot about was getting a donkey over here. All right, buddy, I think you are the fastest, so you are coming with me. And really quickly, I'm actually going to take a detour because I realized that throughout this entire 100 days, I have not even made a nether portal. Mainly because I haven't even needed to go to the nether. You know what? I think I should go ahead and go to this lava pool over here and get myself some obsidian so I can put down a nether portal somewhere in my base. And actually, while I'm here, I'm going to collect some of these bushes because I didn't realize that I never had some of these bushes. So these guys are coming with me. And there we go. All the obsidian I need. And now it is time to bring you across the water and bring you back home. And now you're going in here, buddy. This is your new home. And I'm going to dot around some of the new bushes. And I also picked up some more flowers that are different colors than the ones I already had. And I think the best spot for the nether portal would be right here. And really quickly, I just want to see my spawn. And yep, I got a very classic nether spawn, being just lava pool and danger and a ghast. And now for the rest of day 99, I'm going to spend the time organizing my chest, because you can see there is a ton of stuff laying around and I need to put them all in these different chests. And then I will see you guys on day 100. And here we are, everyone, the morning of day 100. Everything has been organized in my chests, and I also added some armor trims because I have them laying around. But just looking at the entirety of this island that I built in the middle of this lake, and honestly, I am very proud of it. This has probably been my favorite 100 days to record, and who knows, if this video does extremely well, I might do 200 days in this world. But anyways, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye and have a great day.